You know, people always talk about the speed of light like it's just some number. 299,792,458 meters per second. Fast, right? Really fast. Faster than anything else we know. And sure, we're told that's the cosmic speed limit. Einstein said so. Everybody just accepts it. That's how the universe works. But that's not an explanation. That's just repeating words. Why is it the limit? Why can't we go faster? Something's actually stopping you. And when you start thinking about that, really thinking, you realize something complete, bizarre something that doesn't fit with your everyday intuition at all. It's not just a matter of you can't go faster than light. The speed of light is built into the very structure of space and time. It's the framework of the universe itself. And it works in a way that makes trying to go faster literally impossible. Let me show you what I mean. Let's start simple. Something everyone knows. Things fall. Drop a ball, drop a rock, drop anything. What happens? It falls. Galileo measured it. 16 feet in the first second. That's it. Simple. Okay, now think about the moon. The moon doesn't just drop down. It stays up there, orbiting. But hang on, if the moon is staying up there, is it really falling? Well, yes. The moon is in free fall toward the Earth, just like your ball. But there's a twist. It's moving sideways, tangentially, as it falls. Gravity pulls it toward the Earth, but because it's moving sideways fast enough, it keeps missing. That's an orbit. Falling and moving sideways at just the right speed to never hit the ground. Newton had a brilliant insight about this. The moon is 240,000 miles from the center of the Earth, while we're on the surface about 4,000 miles from the center. So the moon is 60 times farther than we are. Newton asked, what if gravity weakens with distance? He proposed the inverse square law, double the distance, gravity is 1. Fourth as strong, 3 times the distance, 1/9, and so on. So, at the moon's distance, 60 times farther, gravity is 60 squared times weaker, or 3,600 times weaker than on the surface. On Earth, things fall 16 feet in the first second. Divide that by 3,600. That's about 1/12 of an inch per second squared. But wait, we're talking about the square of time in the formula. So multiply by 3,600. Again, 16 feet. Exactly what we measure. Newton predicted the moon's fall using the same law that explains why your apple drops. That was huge. Not just a guess. Not just a pattern, an actual prediction. Two things that seem completely unrelated, the moon's orbit and the fall of objects on Earth, were connected by one law, gravitation. It explained planetary motion. Kepler had already measured orbits and ellipses, but he didn't know why. Newton explained it. Then he could explain tides. Why are there 2 tides a day? If the moon pulls on the Earth, shouldn't there be just one high tide? Newton realized it's about differences in pull. The water on the near side is closer, pulled more. Water on the far side is farther, pulled less. 2 bulges, 2 tides per day. Even the Earth does a little dance with the moon, orbiting their common center of mass. The spinning and the pull explain why the Earth isn't a perfect sphere. Everything falling, everything moving explained by one elegant law. Measurements became more precise. Newton's laws were tested even harder. The moons of Jupiter were carefully observed. And here's the funny thing, they sometimes appeared 8 minutes ahead, sometimes 8 minutes behind the predicted schedule. What's going on? When Jupiter is near us, less time for light to travel. When it's far, more time. So, the discrepancy isn't Newton's law. It's the finite speed of light. By analyzing this, scientists calculated the speed of light. They didn't measure light. Directly, they trusted Newton's law. Confidence in one law led to discovering another. That's how science works. One insight builds the next. An avalanche that has been rolling for 400 years. Now, here's where it gets truly weird. Light always travels at the same speed, no matter how fast you're moving. Stand still, shine a flashlight. 299,792,458 meters per second. Get on a train moving half the speed of light. shine the flashlight forward. You'd think speed of light plus speed of train. Nope. Still 299, 700, and 92,458. 90% the speed of light, still the same. 99.9999%, still the same. Your intuition breaks down. Normally, speeds add. You walk 3 miles per hour on a train going 50 miles per hour. You're going 53 miles per hour relative to the ground. Light refuses to obey this rule. Einstein saw the solution. Space and time are flexible. They bend, stretch, and compress to make light speed constant. When you move faster through space, time slows down for you. Your clock literally ticks slower. Distances contract in the direction of motion. These aren't illusions, they're real. The universe adjusts to keep light constant. The speed of light is woven into the structure of space-time itself. And here's the kicker. Try to accelerate a mass toward the speed of light. It resists, not because your engine isn't strong enough, not because of friction, because the object's inertia increases. Relativistic mass, as you approach light speed, inertia goes to infinity. To reach light speed, you'd need infinite energy. Impossible. Nothing with mass can reach it. Photons, they're massless. Why have no choice? They must travel at light speed. But you and me, anything with mass, can get very close, very, very close, but never there. Why is this the limit? Not because light is special. Space-time itself has a maximum rate at which cause and effect can propagate. Light travels at that rate because it has no mass. If there were no light, the limit would still exist. Space and time are bound together. Think of it like this. You're always moving through space-time at a fixed rate. If you sit still, all your motion is through time 1 second per second. Start moving through space, and some of that motion is diverted. Time slows. Move at light speed, no motion left for time. Time stops. That's why photons don't experience time, and this isn't just theory. Experiments confirm it. Particles in accelerators reach 99.9999% of light speed. The faster they go, the harder it is to accelerate exactly as predicted. GPS satellites have to correct for time dilation. Moving fast, weaker gravity, clocks tick differently. Muons in the upper atmosphere live longer than expected because of relativistic effects. Observations match predictions perfectly. The speed of light as a limit is as real as anything in physics. So why the speed of light? Because space-time has a structure, a built-in conversion between space and time. It's the maximum rate at which cause and effect can propagate. You can't go faster without breaking causality. Moving backward in time, nonsense. The speed of light is the speed at which the universe updates, the maximum speed of information, the speed at which changes happen. And look at how it all started. Newton observing the moon, Roma measuring light from Jupiter's moon, Einstein realizing light's constancy, experiments confirming relativity. Each discovery builds the next. That's the avalanche of science, 400 years of figuring things out. The speed of light isn't just a number, it's a key that unlocks the strange, beautiful structure of the universe. It shows how space and time work, how cause and effect propagate. And we can understand it, measure it, test it, use it. That's the wonder of physics. Not comfort, not simplicity, but understanding. Real, breathtaking, almost magical understanding. You know, we often hear people say that light travels. We imagine it moving from here to there, racing across space, bouncing off mirrors, bending around corners, but always moving, always in motion. It's such a common thing to say that we hardly stop to question it. And yet, if you really pause and think about it, the idea becomes a little strange, a little magical, because light doesn't travel in the way we imagine. Light doesn't leave one place and arrive at another like a runner crossing a track. Instead, light exists everywhere it touches, everywhere it illuminates, and in a sense, it's always already there. When we see a tree, a face, or a star, light is not making a journey to show us what's there. It is the way we see it, the very act of seeing. That means that light is not a traveler. Light is a state, an event, a process, a presence. And if we think about that, we can start to see life in a different way to imagine. For a moment that you are sitting in a room, the sun streaming through the window, you can see the dust motes dancing in the beam. We say that light is coming through the window. But if you look carefully, you notice something strange. The light that touches the dust mote is the same light that touches your hand when you wave it through the beam. The same light illuminates the table, the book, the wall. It is everywhere at once, not traveling, not moving in a straight line from here to there. What we call travel is just a story we tell ourselves, a way of measuring distance. The light doesn't care about distance. The light doesn't care about time. Light simply is. And when you start to see this, when you start to feel this, it changes the way you think about your own actions, your own goals, your own life. We think we need to go somewhere to achieve something. We imagine a path stretching ahead of us, a line that we must follow step by step to reach a goal. But what if life is more like light? What if the goal is not at the end of the road, not waiting for us somewhere down the line? What if the goal, the understanding, the growth we seek is already here, already present in the very act of living, thinking, and creating? Just like light, it is not traveling toward you. It is shining in you, waiting for you to notice it, to engage with it, to use it. Let's take a closer look at what it means to say that light never travels. Imagine a beam of sunlight hitting the surface of a pond. You see ripples on the water, reflections of clouds, and sometimes little flashes where the sun hits a moving leaf. We say the light is traveling from the sun to the pond. But consider this, the light that touches the leaf is inseparable from the light that illuminates the cloud reflected in the water. Every photon, every particle, every wave of light is already part of the moment it is in. There is no journey, there is only manifestation. And isn't that the lesson for us? There is no separate future, self waiting somewhere ahead, no distant success waiting at the end of a path. There is only the moment illuminated by your attention, by your intention, by your choices. When we internalize this idea, it can change the way we approach failure. Failure is often thought of as a stop along the road, a delay, a deviation from a path. But if there is no path, if there is no traveling, then failure is not something we encounter along the way. It is light, illuminating an opportunity to see something we couldn't see before. Failure is not a distance traveled backward. It is a present moment revealing a hidden truth. And success, similarly, is not a finish line that has been reached. Success is not something that arrives after movement. Success is the recognition, the awareness, the application of the light that is already here, shining on our ideas, our efforts, our understanding. Think about the way we learn. We often think of learning as a process of going from ignorance to knowledge, from darkness to light, as the light is traveling to us and depositing understanding along the way. But learning is more like light, revealing what is already present. The knowledge is not somewhere out there waiting to arrive. It exists in the patterns, in the questions, in the observations, in the willingness to notice. Every time you experiment, every time you try, every time you fail, you are not waiting for light to come to you. You are interacting with it, shaping it, letting it show you tea. He world as it is, not as you imagine it. And here is another strange thing about light. It reflects, it bends, it refracts, it interacts with everything in its path, changing direction, changing form, creating new patterns. We think of our lives in straight lines, linear progressions from one achievement to the next. But if we were more like light, we would embrace the curves, the reflections, the bends. Every obstacle, every challenge, every unexpected encounter is not a deviation from the path. It is the medium through which your light interacts, reshapes, and reveals itself. You do not need to get past difficulty as if it is blocking your way. You need to engage with it. Let it transform the light within you. And in doing so, illuminate new possibilities. Now, consider the way light splits when it passes through a prism. A single beam becomes a spectrum of colors, each distinct, each vibrant, each visible in its own right. One light, many expressions. This is exactly what happens when you apply yourself fully. When you pursue your curiosity and passion with intensity, you are not moving toward a single point. You are manifesting multiple forms of brilliance simultaneously. Your ideas, your actions, your relationships, your creations, they are all part of the same light, refracted through different aspects of your being. And the beauty of it is that each spectrum is complete, whole, and meaningful in itself. You don't need to wait for the whole spectrum to appear. It is already present in every moment, in every choice you make. If we accept that light does not travel, then our relationship with time changes too. We imagine light taking years, decades, or millennia to reach us from distant stars. But in reality, what we see is not something that has traveled. It is an event, a manifestation, a presence. The star is not over there, and light is not coming to us. The star's light is the star. The observation is immediate, inseparable, undeniable. And life is the same. We often postpone joy, learning, connection, and fulfillment as if they must arrive after some interval. But the reality is that these experiences are not distant travelers. They are manifestations of your engagement with the present. Your openness to noticing, your willingness to shine where you are. Consider the way light bends around objects. Shadows form, not because light is absent. They form because the light interacts with matter. The shadow is not a gap. It is a pattern, a shape, a reflection of interaction. Our setbacks, our doubts, our uncertainties are shadows in the same way. They are not empty spaces along a road to success. They are expressions of interaction. Patterns created by the very act of shining, the very act of living. To avoid them is to misunderstand the nature of illumination. To embrace them is to understand that every shadow, every difficulty, every challenge is part of the dynamic process of being present, of manifesting light in your own life. And and there's the question of speed. Light is said to be the fastest thing in the universe. But if light does not travel, what does speed mean? Speed is a measure of distance over time, and yet, in the act of observation, the distance is irrelevant. Light is immediate. Light is present. And when you realize this, you see that the pace of your progress, the speed at which your ideas unfold, the timing of your success, is not a race against distance or against time. It is a process of noticing, engaging, creating, and reflecting. It is not movement through space. It is the manifestation of your understanding, your courage, your curiosity, and your effort in the present. We can even see this in human connections. We say we want to reach out to someone, to influence them, to share an idea, to inspire them. We imagine sending our thoughts across distance and time, hoping they arrive and resonate. But if we think like light, we understand that the effect is already present. Your presence, your attention, your engagement, the very act of being and showing up is the light. There is no distance to cross. The connection exists in the manifestation itself, in the interaction, in the recognition of one another's presence. We don't reach someone, we illuminate them and ourselves through the shared act of engagement. When we live with this understanding, the way we face challenges transforms. We no longer see obstacles as roadblocks or delays. We see them as parts of the medium through which our light shines. The harder the challenge, the more it shapes, refracts, and reveals the brilliance within us. The greater the resistance, the more intricate and beautiful the pattern of illumination that emerges. To struggle, to question, to persist, to fall, and to rise, all of these are not steps along a path. They are the expression of light, manifesting through experience. They are the very act of being fully present, fully engaged, fully alive. And here is the most liberating realization. If light never travels, then there is no failure of distance. There is no too far to reach, no too light to start, no impossible to achieve. Every act of attention, every gesture of curiosity, every moment of effort is complete and whole in itself. Every step you take, Every idea you explore, every connection you make is not. A point on a distant path is an event, a manifestation, a shining moment. You are not moving toward illumination. You are illumination.